James. Last season, my man LeBron James passed.
So, this is the Kobe Bryant film room, Hellafide Cap edition, right? This title of this video is going to be Kobe Bryant film room, Hellafide Cap, featuring Skip Bayless and the Three Stooges, right? And why do I call this the Hellafide Cap edition? Because they're capping. And I want you guys to see the difference between the last video that I did with Hubie Brown, right? Hubie Brown breaking down the X's and O's in the game of basketball, y'all. Breaking it down to a science, right? Talking about height, length of Gasol and Bynum, right? Talking about the triangle offense, the counters, the adjustments that the Celtics have to make, right? The game planning, right? The schemes, right? Dealing with matchups, right? To this, right? 3 football players and a man who's never played basketball on a professional level talking about the game of basketball, right? There's no pro in sight.
Of course, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, February 7th, to become the NBA's all-time leading scorer. He led the Lakers past Memphis in 6 in the first round, and then past Golden State in 6 in the second round. But the Lakers, of course, got swept in the conference finals by the eventual champs, the Denver Nuggets. So, Richard, you and Keith grew up here in LA. You're both big Lakers fans, but I'm going to start with you, Mr. Sherman. What do you expect from LeBron as he hits age 39 in year 21?
The same thing we expected the other 20 years.
And see, that's dumb shit. Yo, why is no one laughing at that statement? Bro, LeBron James is damn near 40 years old, right? You're due to see some type of slippage in play. You don't expect a man in year 20 to perform in year 7, like year 7. You just don't.
The very same thing?
The king. I mean, last year,
The king, right? And that's what we just, that's a basketball discussion, right?
in his 20th year, averaged 28.9 points, 8.3
Just
rebounds.
reading off the stat sheet, right? Just read off the stat sheet.
Like, he was dominant. We talked about him in the playoffs. You know, you say Father Time, Mother Nature, they all catch you eventually.
They do.
But he was coming off of an injury. So when he got in those playoffs, he was still injured. But he still played well. He played well in the Memphis series, but only averaged 22 points, but he improved that.
I thought he played very well.
He was good in the Memphis series. He was okay, right? It wasn't nothing that was going to blow us away, but I thought he played well as well.
Every round he improved.
I got it. Until Denver.
Even in Denver series that you give him so much right for.
You know what? Yeah.
He almost averaged a triple-double with 27.7. It's the thing.
And look at his face. These numbers is like, it's like Pornhub to these guys, right? They're look at his eyes. Yo, look at this nigga eyes. Yo, these guys care so much about statistics. They don't give a fuck about winning the game. This to them is the championship, is the stats.
That you're holding to is insanity. Imagine
The
averaging
standard that they're holding them to is the standard that you guys are setting for them because you guys cap. This is why it's called Hellafide Cap. So when people hear you cap, they're like, oh shit, where he can do that? He's the best defender in basketball. And then they don't see him playing defense. Then people are going to bring that up. Or they say, oh, well, for real, he can carry a team all by himself. And then when the nigga can't carry a team all by himself, they're going off with the pressure that you guys are putting, the unrealistic expectations of a damn near 40-year-old man that you guys place on him.
7.7, 9.5 rebounds, 10 assists on 51% shooting, and you saying he had a bad series. He had a bad series. That's a bad series. You gotta be a bad man for that to be a bad series.
He played well. He played well in the Denver series. LeBron is an all-time great player and a phenomenal player. He played well, especially for his age. He played phenomenal. You always have to give LeBron credit for his ability to play well, to play great for this length of time. It is incredible.
My tongue until I hear from Keyshawn.
Well, Richard basically echoed what I was probably going to say to a degree. I'll just focus in on the Denver situation. First of all, the altitude was an issue.
This nigga right here. And see, the fucking altitude. So LeBron's been in the NBA for 20 seasons, bro. He's played in Denver before. He knows what to expect. This is a fucking lame-ass excuse. This is a lame-ass excuse, bro. He's attempting to try and give the man a pass, but his pass is ridiculous. Like, if you want to say, oh, he was playing through an injury, blah, 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 right? Okay, it's an excuse. It's still bullshit because he played. But it's more reasonable than the altitude. This is ridiculous.
Okay, it was in there. Don't roll your eyes.
It's always an issue.
Yes, that's why they want home court advantage. That's why they want home court advantage.
Oh, listen, look at Michael Irvin, right? He looks like a mixture between a preacher and a pimp. He looked like he'd be picking up the women in the choir.
That was an issue. But if you look at his overall regular season, like you said, Sharon, close to 29 points a game, the 20 seasons, okay? At some point in the year, we was talking about him at the beginning of the year as a possible MVP.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those talks changed when they started getting their ass whooped, sir.
Then he gets an ankle injury. Then he dealt with foot injuries. So he missed 27 games.
Is that Father Time tapping you on the shoulder?
It's not Father.
That's exactly what it is. And see, Keyshawn's so busy trying to cap for LeBron, he doesn't understand. As you get older, you can't do the things that you once can. He cannot carry a team like he once carried the team. He just can't do it. When you get older, the healing process takes longer. The injuries just start piling up, right? You pull one thing and you pull another thing, and then now you're out for longer time. This is called old age. It's completely normal for people to get older and not perform like they did when they're younger. That's normal.
I'm tapping you on the shoulders. It just happens to be in a situation when you get an injury. We all know if LeBron James stays healthy, he is going to be one of the top 5 or 6 players in all of the NBA, and depending on who you have in the conversation.
Okay, so you have Joel Embiid. This is in no particular order. Joel Embiid, Jokic, right? You got Giannis. You got Jason Tatum. You got even Anthony Davis on his own team, right? You got Luka Doncic. You got KD. Top 5 or top 6? Off the top of my head, I don't know about that. He might be able to squeeze in. I don't know about that. It's plausible if he comes out
with. They may even put him at number 1. Just depends on who you
Number
talk.
1 is Cap. You got Steph Curry too. You got to throw Steph in there. But number 1 is Cap. This is bullshit. Keyshawn saying this shit with a straight face, y'all. 3 football players, not a basketball mind in sight.
Okay, so you think he's an MVP candidate?
100%.
All right.
Healthy? 100%. 100%.
They always do this.
One of the things that he's adapted and learned how to do now is change his game.
And that's it, right?
He's changing his game.
That's it.
And so when we see,
that's Cap. He has not changed his game. He plays damn near the same way. The only thing he does a little bit differently is he's starting to trust the younger players with more responsibilities because he can't do what he once did.
Saw LeBron in his younger days, he was doing something totally different than he is now.
Right.
Okay, the offense doesn't always have to go through him the way that it did before. He's obviously a point guard now to a degree.
Right.
But when he needs to get on the blocks as a power forward, he can. Don't tell me anything about he's not clutch. Don't tell me anything about his three-point shooting. We're never going to say Steph Curry is shooting threes. We're never going to say like everybody criticizes him like, oh, he should take that shot.
Okay, but when you say he's a better three-point shooter than Kobe and Michael, then that has to be brought up. You can't just say, well, when you watch him miss a shot, you can't just say, oh, well, he shot the ball bad, but, he's still better than Kobe and Mike at shooting the ball when his numbers and when you can see it on the court, he's not great at shooting the three. But this is a fair criticism. It's not out of balance to bring this up.
No, he should just make the right play. That's what he should do. And he's been able to do that.
You don't
He
hear
took
that.
the Laker team that everybody was dumping on until they made the trades to the Western Conference Finals.
Okay, so this is another situation where Keyshawn's capping. Now, Keyshawn had like 5 or 6 moments where he just capped for LeBron James. Listen, the Lakers were in the 13th spot in the Western Conference when LeBron got injured and when LeBron was out. I believe the Lakers have a winning record with LeBron out. Why? Because Anthony Davis is now the best player on the team. Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves, and you could question the officiating, helped bring them back and win those games, right? It wasn't just all one man. And see, this is the problem with a lot of these guys in the media. They put this all on LeBron and give him all the credit. But when he lose, they say, oh, he can't do it by himself. But you just say he single-handedly brought them to the Western Conference Finals. So when people look at that, they're like, shit, well, why couldn't he do this? Why didn't he make the play-in? Oh, well, he was this. It's bullshit. It's cap.
Think
about what Rob Blanket did at the deadline.
Rob Pelinka did a great job at the deadline, by the way.
And Rob Pelinka didn't do a good job.
Right,
I'm just saying, here's a team that got a whole new crew of guys in a short period of time. This isn't, in the NBA, it's not halfway point. Even though we say halfway point, it's less than the halfway point after they trade, then you get to the playoffs. He was able to take all those guys that they brought, put them together, and will their way to the Western Conference Final.
And the way, the way to best describe this is for Skip and everybody, what LeBron did last year, Michael Jordan couldn't do.
And see, this is what happens. This is why a lot of basketball fans, including Michael Jordan fans, hate LeBron James. Because this conversation had shit to do with Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan's was playing for the Washington Wizards. He didn't have near the talent LeBron James had this year. Nowhere near it, right? So LeBron James has the luxury of playing with Anthony Davis. Michael Jordan did not. Not only that, they were playing in a different era, right, of basketball where there was no play-in tournament, right? So who knows what Michael would have done had there been a play-in tournament for Michael. And see, this is the reason why people get infuriated, because he's just saying things to elevate LeBron and then shit on Jordan when it's unnecessary.
Period. He could not do. He couldn't take a late group, grab them and bring them together, and take that group and melt them together to be a team to go on a run like that.
Name at age 38 or ever.
Look,
Well, at age 38, Jordan was somewhere playing golf
and that's a great question. And let me tell you,
Look at this shit, Richard Sherman.
well, I don't know if ever. I think ever would be because at 38, that's what. Let me tell you, Michael was a great individual.
We're about to get struck by lightning.
Michael was a great
I'm moving out of the way because it's coming through the
talent.
ceiling.
He was a great individual talent. Great individual
just
talent.
uttered
But the
the
guys that
blasphemy of-
Michael Jordan was with, they understood how he is. They understood how he was, and they dealt with it. You take Michael out of that locker room, put him in another locker room, and I just don't know if all those guys run with him the same. I'm talking about especially later in his career. Later in his career. You can put LeBron anywhere on any team. He's an agent himself. He's going to put a team together, and he's a great leader, and he can play the point. His skills don't erode to a place where he can't lift the team. Jordan only lifts a team with his individual skill. His play,
greatest
which is
skill
great.
Okay, and that's partially true, but his individual skills also elevate his teammates because his teammates benefit off being wide open because Jordan gets attention on the court, and Jordan was a good passer.
It does, but that's going to diminish. And as that diminishes,
But it didn't diminish through 35, through 6 championships and 6 final MVPs. I've never seen anything like it. I was there. I know him.
When he was this age, when he's around that age, he's not
He
playing.
quit on principle. His coach got pushed out the door, and he said, "I quit."
At 38 years old, bro. I love Jordan. I love Jordan just like you do, Skip. But at 38, LeBron James is doing something different.
And his skill set says he can do it.
Yeah.
He can go play the point. Like he told him, and still take those little.
Yeah, he even played the 5 at times. He even played the 5 at times last year in the playoffs.
Right.
And so when he doesn't achieve, right, and he plays like shit, or he struggles, right, this is what they do, right? This is what these guys do. They change the criteria. These guys are so in love that these guys are capping like a motherfucker.
He can do that. That's why he can play. He's got much room to
Think
play.
about it. Anthony Davis missed 26 games
did.
from last year.
All right.
If those dudes stay healthy, Skip, you got to be careful.
And everybody on that Laker team played up because of LeBron
Okay,
James.
I give you that.
And see, okay, so they gave him all the credit, right? Ignore Anthony Davis. Ignore what other players who contributed to the team, right?
I always say he is still, to this moment, the best passer in basketball. He is still the greatest driver of the basketball ever, and it ain't even close. Which is why at the end of games I say, just put your head down. He finally did. I'm going to get to it in a second here. He finally did.
Just put your head down. Just put your head down.
But usually he pulls up and jacks up threes because he's scared to death at the late game free throw line. I can show you 1,000 times. That is the God's truth. I can show you.
There is some truth to that, right? There is some truth to that.
Nobody, wait a second, since LeBron broke into this league, nobody has missed more late game, close game free throws than LeBron James. That is.
So Skip's the only one attempting to break down the actual game, right? He's the only one attempting to break down X's, well, not really X's and O's, but just basketball conversation.
You know why you miss free throws, Skip?
Yeah, because you're going like this.
No, that's not. You miss free throws. You miss free throws at times late in games when you're 37, 38 years old because your legs are beat you.
He's always.
This nigga said you miss free throws because your legs. Yo, this is a capping ass nigga, dog. You miss free throws because your fucking legs go out. They will say anything. These niggas will say anything to excuse LeBron James. They didn't give Jordan that. They didn't give Kobe that. They didn't give Magic that. They didn't give anybody else in the history of the game this many excuses, y'all.
And like
No, but he said.
What the hell does Skip got on? Skip looking like a damn vampire in Connecticut and shit.
Late in games, he's saying late in games, yes, he misses free throws. He's always done it, but late in games, his legs are not underneath it. Then you say he pulls up, he realizes I can't blow past this guy the same way I used to. So he takes.
So what's that called? That's called old age. He's an old ass nigga. That's called old age, which Keyshawn Johnson wouldn't accept earlier on in the show.
And shot.
You're going to get the call. You're going to get to the line. But here's the problem. You realize in these past playoffs, he missed an NBA playoff record 20 straight three-point shots. Everybody just swept that under the rug. 20 straight.
He was shooting like absolute shit from the three-point line. Right? It's clearly like he struggled shooting the basketball. But we'll see what Keyshawn has to say.
Threes. He's a lousy three-point shooter. I'm sorry.
I told you that already. I told you he's not a great three-point shooter. But he's pulling up from the three because he doesn't trust blowing past
now,
people.
I'm going to give you this. I give Richard this. He went
So
on
he doesn't trust blowing past people, but he's been doing that shit the whole series. Man, get the fuck out of here. Now, my explanation is that he burns himself out towards the end of games. So he drives all game long. Then in the fourth quarter, he has not the same amount of energy as he once had.
The likes of which I have never ever seen, especially from a 38-year-old. From his birthday, December 30th, through February 7th, when he passed Kareem, it took my breath away on a nightly basis. He just said, watch this. You can argue that nobody can score different ways more than he can, because when he puts his head down in his mind to
I can't play all positions.
hey, he's 6'8".
There's multiple people who can